Morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the 10-Minute Trainer Network. We are pumped. Today is a topic that I'm really excited about, and we are joined with Jacobs Media's very own Chris Brunt. Chris, are you with us this morning? There we
I sure,
go. Hey, Chris.
I sure am, complete with a exclamation point in my name, it looks like. So
Hey, you know what? I like that.
yeah, we're fancy like that. Great to
So
great to see you, Brian.
No, great to see you as well. And we were chatting just a little bit before the stream started, and really just excited about this topic, and and how how the content that we're going to be covering today is so applicable for everybody, but really kind of honing in for those folks that are those small to medium sized markets, specifically those individuals who don't always have the tools that everybody else has. And I think that's really important of what can we do today to help us as we look towards the future. And there's a lot out there. So here's the really cool thing, Chris. You are going to go through a variety of things. You're going to share some content, some video, and we're going to open this up a little bit for Q&A. So as you have questions today, chat away, right? You should be able to have, I can already see that there's folks chiming in on, keep letting us know where you're joining us from. So I can see that folks are already chatting on here. So again, let us know where you're joining from. But again, as you have questions for Chris, please feel free to chime in and we'll save those for the end. If we don't get to everybody's question, again, we'll feed you right into Chris and we'll go from there. So Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you. With Jacobs Media, Chris is the director of AI, digital, and revenue generation. And as discussed, I want to take your title because that's way cooler than mine. So, Chris, I'll hush up and turn the stage over to you.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot, Brian, and thanks, Jen, for running things behind the scene and making all the dots connect and the wires do what they need to do today. As Brian indicated, my name is Chris Brunt. I have a very long title at Jacobs Media. I've been here for 2 years, and since I came on board, I've been working in the AI space, but also was brought on board primarily to work on digital revenues. So being able to combine um, those two areas is really essential. And as Brian indicated, we're going to talk today a little bit from the perspective of small to medium market sellers and people that are maybe working for independent companies. Because if you're working at a bigger company today with a lot of resources, fantastic. You might be familiar with some of the tools we're going to discuss today. If you are, think about how you can use them in your day-to-day workflow to take your selling to the next level. So you can make one or two more client calls a day or cold calling a day because you've saved that much more time, or maybe upsell your current clients because your clients are purchasing digital. If they're not purchasing it from you, they're purchasing it from somewhere else, or maybe even going the self-service route. If these examples are new to you, not a problem. Some of them that we're going to talk about today are cheaper than a LinkedIn premium membership. Some of them even have free trials to test out. So a lot of them are at a price point where it's economical, where if you wanted to make an investment in yourself and your own personal book of business, you can do that. Because a lot of the tools today are made for people who have side hustles and people that are going out independently. And so those price points have come down dramatically from where they were 2 or 3 years ago. So why don't we get started right now? And we're going to let's start with talking about Google, because as AI began to take hold, many publishers have seen their website page views start to decrease. And some people have predicted kind of naively that AI could be an existential threat to Google's dominance. Because who's going to click on a search ad if all users need to do is ask ChatGPT a question and get the direct answer without any additional clicking? Well, for those people who were big fans of Google, you don't have to fear, because Google is way ahead of all of us on that scenario. They launched Performance Max in 2021. Because what did Google have? they had advertisers in lots of different platforms, including the leading search engine platform, the leading display ad platform from their DoubleClick purchase 15 years ago. They had the top video platform, which is also the #2 search engine in the world. They had the top navigation platform with Google Maps and Waze, and they had the top email platform. So what they released in 2020 and then made it public in 2021 was Google Performance Max. And what that does is it unsilos the platforms for the advertisers and optimizes the campaign spend based on your client's objectives. Most platforms have been optimizing ad placement for ages. If they know that we're getting the most clicks on these types of websites, we're going to put more display ads on these types of websites. But what Google Performance Max does, it adjusts the spending among all of its platforms to most effectively use the sales funnel based on what the client objective is. And it even creates advertising for the client based on just some minimal content that you upload, as we'll see in this video on how it works.
Using Google's automation capabilities, Performance Max helps you drive better performance and convert more customers across all of Google's advertising surfaces. Performance Max uses your advertising objectives, conversion goals, and audience signals to ensure your ads reach the right audiences at the right time. Performance Max campaigns use automation to help you improve your results and grow your business across channels. Add your unique expertise, such as your conversion goals, budget, and creative assets. Google Ads automation will find more customers and serve the most relevant ad to maximize campaign performance.
So you can see there's a lot of AI involved in the background behind there that even the people that are administering the accounts aren't necessarily familiar with how Google, gets the sausage made, but it does work. Now let's talk about the first piece of creative that we can use AI for, and that's kind of been the bane of my existence when I've been out on the field selling to clients or helping ad reps sell to clients, and that's banner ads. Because for the last 20 years, we've always needed a specific set of banner sizes, and you have to have your graphics guy or your freelancer or even yourself go into MS Paint or Photoshop to get the sizes right. And for about the last 15 years, there have been platforms that can assist with that, but AI has really taken that to the next example. Let's take a look at some of the challenges with this. Turnaround time is key. If you submit a set of banners to your client, you need to get approval, they don't like it, you could be 3 or 4 days before a campaign goes live. And in the media businesses we're in, we know that time kills sales. So we want to make sure the turnaround time is as quick and easy as possible. And we want to make sure that if we use AI, that allows us to empower our graphics team, our web guy, our freelancers to spend time on higher level work, not just resizing banners. This is what's happening in the advertising agency world already, as Forrester put out some research last year that shows that 69% of ad agencies are using generative AI. 54% of media agencies are using generative AI to help create the media that gets placed in front of our eyeballs and heading, onto our screens every day. So let's take a look. And I should preface this by saying that of the platforms I'm presenting in this webinar, I don't get anything from them. In some cases, I chose them based on how well they ranked organically in Google search results. There are many different options. A lot of them have the same type of workflow and feature sets. So let's take a look at adcreative.ai. This creates banner ads, and see how quickly it is to create a set of banners for your client. Let's say I'm going to take my favorite shawarma restaurant in the Detroit area. Detroit has a lot of great places for pita and shawarma and Mediterranean food. I like Bucharest Grill. So at adcreative.ai, I put in bucharestgrill.com, and then I connect whatever ad accounts I need to connect to if I want the ads to automatically go into the platform, saving me one more step. From there, AdCreative.ai is going to scrape the client's website, come up with actionable headlines for the banner ads, and then come up with a bunch of AI generated stock photos. And I said, well, I want PETA to be in there because that's what the Bucharest Grill is known for. So then once I've selected that, the AI does its work and it comes up with 100 different pieces of creative I can use. So imagine, I put this into my personal workflow. So once I get the client's signature, I can automatically present them with a whole bunch of banner ads, maybe even at the meeting where they're signing the paperwork, and say, which of these do you like? And I've immediately taken 24 hours out of the process and gotten the ads one step closer to completion. And then, of course, I can do this as banner ads, as skyscrapers, as leaderboards, as Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Snap ads, because everything can be customized based on those dimensions. Same thing for video. Video has always been the tough nut for AI. We've seen those AI fails of people with 10 finger or 6 fingers on one hand and 2 fingers on another trying to throw a baseball. But it's finally getting really sophisticated now that the AI is advanced. Let's say that I've secured a meeting with Bucharest Grill and I want to maybe have a video to play for them at my first meeting. Well, I can do that. This is Creatify. I used a trial account to get this video made. And again, I put in bucharestgrill.com and analyze the URL. It takes maybe 60 seconds or so. But then after the AI has done its work, it's come up with the name. I can upload the logo. I don't even think I had to do that because it did that for me already. And then a product description. And then it scraped all the pictures off the client's website. And then I can select which photos I want for that video. And then I say, what do I want this video to be for? Do I want it to be for Facebook or Instagram, YouTube, TikTok? Do I want it to go on OTT? What's the duration? And then who's my target audience? I'm going to put down a city foodie. So someone who likes to go around the city finding the best food around. And then once it does that, it creates a whole bunch of copy for the spots. And then I can change the tones of it all based on what I want. And then it comes up with 15 videos from which I can choose to present to the client within under 2 minutes. So let's see which one I picked out.
Detroit foodies are straight up obsessed with this Mediterranean spot that's been low-key perfecting their award-winning shawarma since 2007. Bucharest Grill's chicken and beef wraps are absolutely unmatched. Their golden falafel quesadilla literally broke the internet, and we're here for it. Hit up any Detroit location today and see what everyone's talking about.
It's not a perfect video, but that's not the point. The point is that we've known for ages that spec spots get clients excited and make them want to sign the deal. So here's a way to get them without having to burden your video guy or the production department at the station. You can just create this on your own. And as I said, I created this video in under 3 or 4 minutes. So well worth my investment in time for the opportunity to have Bucharest Grill understand that I can serve all of their video advertising needs.
Detroit foodies are...
Speaking of video, let's hop on over to audio. Now, many stations, many of you may have used 11 Labs for audio, or even Spot On if your station offers that, which creates spec spots for using audio, AI audio. Here's a tool from a company out of the Netherlands. They launched 2 years ago, I believe. But look at the pricing on it. It's $50 a month for unlimited spots for a small market station. A large market, $100, and you get 17 voices. You can add pro voices to it too. So, it really provides the opportunity to use AI even on your own. And let's see what the workflow from Adthos looks like.
Adthos introduces the revolutionary image to audio ad.
Notice this is image to audio. Take a look at the image that they're uploading and the script that is generated based on just an image that's uploaded to the platform.
Now, creating a fully produced audio ad is as simple as taking a picture. Snap a photo of a product, billboard, storefront, or anything that inspires you. From your picture, AdThos crafts a comprehensive creative brief, extracting every detail and context. Our technology sees beyond the image, envisioning the story your brand wants to tell. Next, witness the magic of AI at work. Script writing, voiceover selection, music curation, sound effects, and audio processing all seamlessly integrated. Our AI doesn't just create, it innovates. Prefer a personal touch? Preview and select the music yourself, or have our AI make the perfect choice for you. Now, we bring your vision to life.
Imagine this. An accident turns your life upside down, leaving you injured and in need of strong legal support.
That's where Jacob and Ronnie comes in.
With Jacob, you get more than just a lawyer. You get a dedicated advocate who understands the pain and stress you're going through.
Jacob and Ronnie, with years of experience and a professional authority that stands out as bold as this yellow and black logo, is just a phone call or a click away.
So creating that ad took very small amount of time. And think about it, like if I was doing this for Bucharest Grill, which had 10 locations, and I wanted to geo-target each ad, I could create 10 of those spots in less time than it would take a regular spot to be recorded in a traditional manner. I'll give you a personal example of this last weekend when I went to Cleveland to see a concert. And I happened to be streaming Odyssey stations, an Odyssey station all the way from Detroit to Cleveland. Well, every time he'd stop the car or my phone started buffering, the stream would start again and I'd get the pre-roll. And it was a Verizon pre-roll each time, but the tag on the pre-roll changed depending on what city I was in. At first it was visit your nearest Verizon location on Fort Street in Detroit, and then visit your nearest Verizon location on Summit Street in Toledo. And then it was visit your nearest Verizon store in Sandusky at 123 Main Street. And it went on and on. And so this is a way that big companies are using this to customize the creative for their audiences. As a matter of fact, this exact piece of technology is highlighted in Odyssey's advertiser blog, where they talk about an ad campaign for a sports book where they used 2,000 pieces of creative over the course of 13 weeks based on the scores of the game, the locations of the game, and probably, where the fan bases are. So if I'm in Detroit, if the Lions are playing in Green Bay, I'm going to get a different piece of creative than the people that are in Green Bay and rooting for their Packers. This isn't only happening on Odyssey, though. Sellers on Amazon are using AI to generate dynamic audio ads for the products that they're selling on Amazon. Let's take a look at that. And let's say I'm a vendor that sells his merchandise on Amazon. I can go into the Amazon Ads Manager, select what I want an audio ad for. The Amazon AI will create a script for me. And then I can choose what kind of tone I want, the music category, the speaker, and then how I want it to be placed. Do I want it to be placed in programmatic ads on streaming devices and Amazon Music, or do I want it to appear perhaps just on Alexa devices? And so if I had 500 pieces of merchandise that I'm selling on Amazon, I can create 500 pieces of audio within a short amount of time using AI. Let's switch over to from the creative process to something that has always been a challenge from the time sales began in the Stone Ages, lead generation. I talk to a lot of sales reps every week, from rookies to veterans, and many are still prospecting the same way they've been doing it for the last 25 years. Google searches and media monitoring, looking at the coupons that come in the mail, you know the drill. But we know today, particularly based on the recent Burrell research data, that there are more small businesses in the US than there ever have been before. But those people are not advertising in the same way that they used to advertise. So you can't do a media monitor and see what small businesses are advertising in your hometown, because wedding planners and people that are making ball bearings, they're not advertising on the 6 o'clock news. They're advertising to people that are searching for ball bearings, searching for wedding planners, and searching for golf courses. So using a smart prospecting tool really is essential. If you don't have access through your company to a Zoom Info or a HubSpot, or another industrial strength tool, there are other platforms that can help. And let's take a look at a couple of them right now. Apollo is one of them, which has a really nice low-level package, and I think a free tier as well. But what that does is it helps you build your pipeline by looking at businesses within the parameters that you're looking for. It does targeting almost like how the targeting is done, honestly, on the audience level. Like here, I've selected I was going to go prospect for roofers, so I put in roofing within a 100-mile radius of my area, and I want to do roofers with over between 10 and 50 employees. And here I come up with all of the roofers in my area, and I get links, social media accounts, and a lot of times contact information for those people. So if I'm going in a vertical search, I can do it that way. There's also a company called Buzzboard where I could just search based on the criteria of people that I'm looking for. Maybe I'm looking for people that don't have a sophisticated website, or maybe I'm looking for people that are doing social media advertising to see if they want to do banner advertising or OTT advertising. I can put that into this platform on Buzzboard, and then it's going to generate a ton of business listings for me and give me the number of employees they have, the revenue they have. So I'm not walking in blind and pitching a $100,000 campaign to a company that only has $500,000 worth of revenue a year. It also gives me contacts and tells me how sophisticated they are with their digital marketing. And then I can look even more deeply into each client or prospect that I want to make a client. And it'll tell me things like, how mobile friendly is their website? How's their page speed? Do we need to do an SEO audit to see if we can help them optimize their website more? But these are ways that get us beyond just driving down the street and saying, oh, there's a new cupcake shop open, and then being able to secure a $500 deal when there's an industrial park down the road where there are 5 businesses that need a $10,000 a month deal. And then, of course, once we secure the meeting, we want to find out everything we can about that client, because as we all know, we don't want to be asking questions that can be answered with a Google search when we're in our CNA. So you can either ask Gemini or ChatGPT, tell me everything I need to know about this client, the number of employees, what the industry's pain points are. Or you can use a tool like leadbuster.ai. This is a new tool that is in beta, which will provide a nice dashboard for these companies and give you the research you need to enter a meeting confidently, knowing a lot about the business. Now, not only is it important to know about the business, but think about the times you've been walking into a client, you don't know what their personality is like. And you start talking about your kids and the high school football game that happened last Friday night, and you're getting a stone face in response, and how challenging that can be. Well, if there was only a tool that could help you analyze the personality of the person that you're going to be meeting with, that decision maker, well, there is. Now, I know that some companies offer these tools. I know Futuri has this as a tool in one of their products that they offer. Crystal Knows is another one, and that's crystal as in crystal ball. But what Crystal does is you put in your LinkedIn profile and it shows you your personality type, based on all of these business characteristics and things that you may have taken personality tests for before you landed your job. And then you also put in the LinkedIn profile of the person you're going to be meeting with, and then it compares the two. Now, this is me versus the CEO of our sister company, JCAPS. So Bob Kernan knows that I'm using this about him, but you don't necessarily have to tell the client you're meeting with that you've used this. But you can see here, if I was going to go pitch Bob Kernan on digital ads, I know that he's a little more risk tolerant like I am, but not all the way risk tolerant. So I need to be careful with that. But then also he's fast paced. If I am slow, that may not gel with him when I'm doing my pitch or when I'm asking him questions. I also know that he's a little less optimistic than I am, a little more pragmatic. So I can be aware of that. So it will tell me, like, do I want to do small chat? Do I want to do small talk? Do I want to keep it straight to the point and just talk business? These types of tools can help you in the CNA form that bond you need to help solidify the relationship with your prospect. Campaigns done. We need to provide the stats. All the digital companies that are coming into clients provide those. And a lot of times putting those campaigns together and those dashboards have been a real challenge. It's becoming a lot easier with AI. Here's a company called Dash This, and they have multiple types of dashboards for small to medium-sized businesses, for agencies, for large businesses. But essentially, you just connect all the tools together and it creates a beautiful dashboard. Print it up as a PDF, email it, show it to your client, etc. And then finally, of course, what does 100,000 impressions mean? What does 1 million impressions mean? How many times have you been asked, you say, oh my gosh, we had a 2 click-through rate. And the client says, is that good? Like, let's ask ChatGPT, give me a summary of this. Thoroughly analyze this digital campaign recap, provide me 3 to 5 highlights of what worked well and why. 3 to 5 items to adjust to make it work better, so that I know when I get up for the renewal, what I can tell the people in the ops department how to manage that. And maybe 3 to 5 things that I can upsell this client for on the next campaign, because I always want to be moving forward as our audience becomes more familiar with my client's product and the sales and everything that they provide. So make sure you provide those summaries, have AI help you with it, especially if you have a digital specialist that may be out on a call. ChatGPT can do a really nice job in their stead. And that's what I got for those 10 things. I hope, really appreciate the time you spent on this today. Again, I work at Jacobs Media. We do a lot of digital revenue work for a lot of different types of clients. Feel free to reach out if you have any additional questions.